We're here to record a podcast. Hi,
No, we're
everyone.
not.
No, we're not. No, we're not. It turns off record. All right, guys. That
Yeah,
was that was
and recording
that was
started.
episode 16. All right. But I'm 742.
Oh,
Apparently,
oh, right. Hi.
We'll get it. Episode
I'm here.
100. We'll have a smooth episode. It'll be all right.
Never.
So
I will always end up forgetting to introduce myself.
it is.
I don't exist. I'm a
No.
mere bystander.
So I do apologize for the late recording. It has been a shitstorm of a week.
Late. When
And
have we been on time?
it's true enough. Like when have we
When,
ever?
when, when have we ever been on time?
Fair point. Okay, but in all seriousness, we're here now. But this is probably going to be one of our shortest episodes because
It was indeed not one of the shortest episodes.
we are. Well, we're not on a time crunch, but it is.
It's a very short thing to talk about.
It is, and we're kind of cutting down on our time by just having us, stay on topic, which is something we do not like to do. So, first of all, there's news. I don't want to talk about the news right now. I'm tired and I have stuff to do right after this. It's homework, if you're wondering. And
Nobody's wondering. Shut up. You're not important.
yeah, no, I'll die right here. But news usually takes us a long time. There is news. Israel Palestine things go blow up. Go, I don't know. Go watch videos of it. I don't care. The Kentucky Democrat governor. Things same for Virginia. Coolio. All right. Speed run the news. If I could just get my notes
Wait,
working.
am I? Oh, I was saying, am
Scheisse.
I supposed to be talking about this?
You
So,
can.
Jews and
Oh.
Palestinians,
Okay. No. I'm cutting their shit off.
they
No.
butt
No.
heads.
Anyways,
They
so
they know like each other.
this is true.
So they hate.
I I just wanted to give the rundown. The news. If you want the news, don't ask
Okay,
us. We are no perceive. We do not perceive the news. What is the news?
I don't know. News is nothing.
True. Okay. But let's actually, for the first time in podcast history, we're going to get to the topic of the video in the first 15 minutes. But first,
No, it won't.
I
My watch.
I'm going to assume that each and every one of you, if you're watching a small history channel, has seen or heard of Oversimplified, and he has made a video on this exact topic.
This is where we got all of our research from.
No, I did outside
All of it.
research.
All. No, he did not.
I just copied his
He did
video,
not.
his videos.
Chevron. Just yep. I wouldn't say I plagiarized it per se.
I would
It's
just
just I just so happened to talk about the exact events in the exact same order as his video.
Yeah, I just hit Control C, Control V on his entire transcript, and here we are.
So Control C, Control V.
Yep. But yes, I usually try to steer away from stuff that gets talked about a lot. Like we did the Pepsi Navy, that's a pretty famous one. But other than that, I'd say most of the stuff we do is pretty down low and not too heard of. But this one's just too good to not talk about, so we're gonna do it. All right. So we need to talk about the Aztecs and the Mayans. Um, I don't know about
They're
you.
two they're two tribes.
More like empires, but yeah. So I don't really know too much.
Tribal empires, if
I
you will.
I'll admit to my failings here and say I don't know too much about the Mayans or the Aztecs in their specificities. I know about them in generalities, like vague time periods, what they did, how they fell. I know about some of the stuff, but I do recommend you go after finishing this, of course, do some research or watch a video on the Aztecs and the Mayans. They are such an interesting culture. I kind of want to do an in-depth video on it at some point, but I don't know.
But do you? We don't care. Your opinion is invalid.
True. You you have an opinion? No, you don't. Mm-mm.
Not here. Not here. You don't.
What? Is that an opinion in the wind? No. But yeah, Mayans and the Aztecs are very cool. So are the Inca. Central and South American, Native American, like civilizations are really neat because
Right.
we didn't really get that same kind of thing up in North America.
Nah.
Mostly,
Besides, like the Sioux.
even then, it's mostly due to a couple things. Well, it's very complicated, and I will admit I don't know too much why.
They like to think of preservation of land. So if they spread out across like big open areas of land, right? And they're gonna damage the beauty and the naturality of it. So they stay in like their small little regions. So that way the beauty of America can stay as is. Plus, you have to remember that they were all still like technically hunter gatherer civilizations. Like every so few often, they would pick up everything they owned and move.
There were certain North American ones that were permanent
No,
agricultural.
all of them. No, for real, all of them did that.
Well, for a time, but there
All of
were
them just
agricultural ones
picked up their stuff and left
out in the east.
for like a little bit, and then they were like, "Nah,"
No, there were entire nations
and then
of
they moved
no in the Northeast. There were fishing and farming communities all up and down.
until there weren't.
Yeah, that's because the Europeans. That's not
It, that's what I'm talking about.
till they disappeared, till they
Then
turned
they
in,
then they moved.
and then they moved because they moved to
Forcefully.
heaven.
Very forcefully, but
But yes, so definitely do research. Native American stuff is really cool, and especially the South Americans, very neat. But what we need,
they
what
believed in big building.
they did like big buildings. Temples are just really neat. So, Central America. For the first time in my entire existence, I'm going to give Christopher Columbus the tiniest bit of credit. He technically, at some point, stepped foot on Central America. I don't know where, and I really don't know when, and it really doesn't matter.
Also, if you think he discovered America, your opinion is invalid.
Wrong. He didn't
It doesn't matter.
he didn't discover anything, and he wasn't even the first European. I I am an avid Leif Erikson defender. He didn't discover North America either. You can't discover a land that's already have people on it.
You know who discovered it? The natives that were already there. Gotcha.
But Leif was the first European. Christopher was like the eighth.
Ah, yes. These guys just so happened to stumble upon an uninhabited landmass.
Oh nine.
What idiots. What
Oh
idiots.
nine Klasse. Das ist nicht gut. So.
He's speaking German again.
Oh no. So basically, what happens is that the new world is this just a playground for the old world players because they find out there's gold and there's silver. So they start
And
doing
there's riches. And a
there's
hammock.
there's riches and hammocks. There's riches to be found
And
in Central America. So what they find a fully fledged civilization in the oh boy, I'm gonna get this wrong. I think the Mayans. Oh my god. I didn't write this down, did I? Nope, I didn't. Okay.
I'm,
I don't remember which
I'm a
one
loop.
I don't exactly remember which one Cortez conquered. Was it the I think it was, don't quote me on that.
I'm quoting you on that.
I've already been quoted. Damn it.
Yep, it's on the screen right
Cortez
now.
conquers civilizations and makes all of them slaves. Steals a lot of their gold and sends it back to the mother country of Spain. Due to I don't treaty of it's the treaty that decided the Pope drew a line down a map.
Versailles.
Yeah. The treaty that decided the Pope was like, all right,
The Treaty of Berlin.
what? Nah, what Berlin Treaty? That's your goofy
The
ass up.
Treaty of Montenegro.
What?
Treaty of Copenhagen.
God, we're tired. So, okay, Pope draws a line down the middle
Treaty of
of.
Moscow.
I'm gonna. Pope draws a line down the middle of the Americas, saying this half is Portugal's, this half is Spain's, basically splitting it like siblings would. Spain takes full advantage of this and just eats up most of South America and up to into North America, Mexico and the Louisiana Purchase, which they had later. This isn't really part of what we had. Don't worry about the slides. I threw these together in like 5 minutes right before we recorded. Don't judge.
I'm judging hard.
So at this point, the Spanish are conquering territories and they're trying to set up administrative people. A lot of Spain's idea for this is that they would take the people who were loyal to Spain inside of the cultures and they would just put them in charge of watching over their slave plantations and their slave mines. Because this would kind of make it easier on them to administrate the whole thing.
Nuh-uh.
No, yeah, sure. Explains a historical fact. Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh, you're wrong. No proof.
So the Spanish are having a jolly no proof.
What?
No proof.
No proof. No proof.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
Yeah, give me a picture. Show me a picture. It didn't happen.
When
Picture
Christopher
it didn't
Columbus
happen.
gets back from the New World, he's like, "Look, my king, my queen, I have found a new well, he didn't believe he found a new continent. I have found a route to Asia." Pixar, it didn't happen, Mr. Christopher.
Picture it didn't happen. Picture. I don't know.
What's a photograph? Does anybody know what it is? Huh? Well, it must have not happened. Well, where'd you get that hammock from?
But I found it.
What's a hammock?
What the hammock? Remember, he found gold, some spices, some silver, and a hammock.
All right. So,
We cannot forget about the hammock.
no, the hammock is the most important part of the situation.
Exactly. Definitely not the golden riches that you found.
That's secondary. Like golden. I find it so funny
Oh,
that like Spain mines so much silver in the Americas that they deflated the value of silver so much the fact it caused an economic recession. Like, imagine you're so rich that all of your riches enter the market and just basically
plummet.
just send your country and the world into a death spiral. Like,
Couldn't it be me?
the skill issue.
Good issue. I'm eating high chews now.
Rumbly looking at an entire like civilizational issue and saying skill issue. Hey, why did the Bronze Age collapse happen? Skill issue.
How come Israel and Palestine are fighting right
Oh
now?
my god. No. You cannot look at the Israel Palestine conflict.
Russia versus Ukraine, skill issue.
Yeah, it's a skill issue on Russia's part. They suck.
Yeah.
Hey
Like you're
guy.
hearing this, Putin. Suck my
20-minute adventure, in and out. 2 years later.
Like we'll be in and out. It's
Th-
fine.
3 day,
2.5
yeah,
years later.
3 day special military operation, in and out. It'll be quick.
About 2 years later.
Yeah, 2 years later. All right. So up till so we're at this point, Spain is trying to make their workload even less. So they're past the conquering. They have all of their territory for the most part. There's a bit of stuff that isn't totally in their control yet that will be later, but for the most part, we're looking at complete Spanish control of the Caribbeans, most of South America, all of Central America, and parts of North America. Now,
Nuh-uh.
no, yeah, looking at all of the. What does his map say? I wonder.
Uh, the British Caribbean islands in Northern America.
Yes, that's actually really funny looking at this because later Britain takes most of this, parts of it at least.
Yes.
So
Definitely Puerto Rico. And don't forget the British
yes,
Virgin Islands.
of course. Why do they get their own? Why? Why?
Because they're virgin, just like us.
Fair.
That's why.
So at this point in the history of both our countries that we would talk about, they are under the viceroyalty of New Spain, which is obviously Spanish, and more specifically, they're in the kingdom of Guatemala, which rules over the
Um,
provinces of Salvador, Comayaga, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica, and San Salvador, and Guatemala, of
um,
course. What?
so what you're saying is that when this territory has Spain in the name, it's ruled by Spain?
The Maine was blew up by Spain, yeah? That's what I meant.
Yeah, blame the Main on Spain.
Blame the Maine. But yes, they're taking a less hands-on approach, leaving it more to governors of either Spanish descent or like Spanish. I forget what they're called. There's a special word for it, but I don't remember it. Spanish people who had children with natives, and they were like a separate caste on the system. But
Huh. But
as we know,
so this will last long.
yeah. But as we know from a lot of just history in general, keeping a large amount of people who you're pretty far away from, you're ruling from across an ocean, that's not usually a great way to do it. The empire is going to fall apart. And Spain has a lot of issues leading up into this. They just kind of suck. Like Spain was like an old money empire. They were there since the start. They had explored the New World, but they were new up and comers like the Great Britain and the New France. Well, not New France, like France, but it's Napoleon.
France squared.
Yeah, France squared. And Spain was kind of losing it. They were economically going down with all of their goods no longer being like a monopoly. They just didn't have the same powers they used to. So this leads to a rebellion. In a lot of
No
these,
way, really?
yeah. So a
Who would have
lot,
thunk it?
a lot of independence movements start around this time. You can see here that all around the same time, these countries just started declaring independence. Um, Argentina, Paraguay, Chile, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, all at the same time, 1810 to 1820. Brazil follows later, but that's more of a Portuguese one. Peru, and then
Nuh-uh.
you can see in the top a couple of countries have the same colors. Um, so what happened?
Nuh-uh.
What happened? No,
Nuh-uh.
So the Mexicans are declaring independence from Spain. Spain doesn't really have the resources to fight this, and the Central American territories, that being Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Belize is sometimes included in this, but not here. Costa Rica, and I think Guatemala.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, Rica. My voice had it.
Rica.
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 I'm gonna go petition the
Rica.
United Nations to rename it.
Owiqua.
Costa Rica all tag along with Mexicans' independence. They get their independence, but they don't really want to be with Mexico. Mexico is not too angry about this, and pretty peacefully they're let go. They become the
Until
Federal Republic of Central America, minus Belize.
this will last long.
Yes.
He says, joking.
So the countries included here are Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Chiapas, and the Yucatan. Now, those last two will be ceded back to Mexico in a bit. We will talk about that here soon. But basically, what this means is that these countries alone probably wouldn't have been able to survive, but they knew if they tried to band together, they would be able to fight this. I believe Honduras and Nicaragua were the main driving forces for this bond, but most of the countries all came together for it. They weren't it wasn't like a two country thing that they just all decided.
They were like, hey, we ruled by Spain. Spain no good. Team?
Yeah, but, I mean, yeah. So, I can move. All
It
right.
was like picking teams for dodgeball.
It basically was. All right. Where? Okay. So now the Federation was
Central
pretty.
America.
The Federation was pretty broken. It was always. It was really hard to get all of these states together that wasn't by military force. There were too many differences geographically. It was pretty hard to rule all of them from a one central government. There was corruption, good old fashioned exploitation. It didn't really have a great track record. And eventually, I believe Honduras was actually the first one to leave. They left.
Oh yes, let's join this team. He
I actually,
says later on, being the first to leave.
yeah, yeah. First one on,
Hey,
first one off.
first one on board. First one to say, "All right, I've had enough."
Yep. This sucks. I'm leaving. I'm taking my ball and I am going home. All right.
You guys aren't playing fair. I'm
Yeah.
going home.
Mom said it's my term with the Federal Republic. Mom said it's my turn with the independence.
Wait, well, Salvador, but Mom said my turn. Turns to Spain. Don't look at me.
Don't look at me. You left. like
I
the
don't want to left.
like the distant uncle who you haven't seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So the dissolution happens, and after Honduras left, a lot of countries just left, and eventually they think that the three remained, and they just broke apart. So the countries of Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Belize were born out of this. Yucatan and the other one, I forgot its name, Chiapas, joined Mexico, and this and don't look at the Yucatan. There are still issues there to this very day over their independent spirit. As far as I know, a lot of the people in the Yucatan still speak Mayan as a first language.
That's surprising.
I
And
mean,
yet Italian is dying.
yes, it is because it's a dumb language.
Yeah.
No, but
It's basically German, French, and English put together.
what I've learned about Maya, the Mayans of today, I've learned from well, there's your problem. I'll shout them out every time I can get. But they are usually working in tourist destinations, as far as I know, and they usually have to learn Spanish as a second language, and sometimes
How?
English.
How?
But yeah, native. They're not. These aren't like people learning Mayan because they want to. These are like first language native speaking Mayan people. It is. I think it's really cool. But
But there's
now
always a but.
we have now yes, but we can get to the part of the show. We now have our states. We have set the stage. So instead of hopping back and forth in history and switching between both nations, we're just going to talk about one and then we'll go back in time and talk about the other. The first one we're going to talk about is El Salvador. We're going to talk about it all the way up to the event and then we'll go back. So, El Salvador. In right after independence from the Federated States, they found themselves in desperate need of money because they are a struggling Central American state. So they look at their options and they're like, all right, what do we do?
Coffee.
Coffee. In the recent years, leading up to this, coffee had just gotten huge. It was all everybody wanted. So they decided to make some money. I don't drink coffee, so I can't really talk about. I don't drink coffee.
Okay, so there's two different types of beans, right? And there's two different types of ways you can like harvest them and whatnot. One of the ways is you dry it out. You lay it out in this big open greenhouse and you let it just sit there and dry, and then like when it's all done, you send it through this machine and it'll like peel off like all like the dried off skin and whatnot, and then there you go. And then you oh no, then you roast the bean for a little bit, and then there you go. That will make it more like bitter, but it will have like more caffeine in it. Don't fact check me on this. I'm going off the top of my head. The second way is
Rumbly has much experience in coffee.
and the other way to do it is you would wet the bean first. Like you would like put it through this machine and it would mechanically remove the bean on the inside. Remember, fun fact in the middle of this, what I mean by bean, it doesn't grow like that. That's actually the seed of a coffee cherry.
I
So
didn't.
fun fact of the day. Coffee is a cherry. Coffee is a cherry.
Nah. You're screwed.
Look
Nah.
it up. No,
Mm-mm.
I'm
Nope.
not
I'm not.
laughing.
Nope.
It's called a coffee.
I'm
It's
not
called
looking
the
it up.
coffee
You can't
cherry.
make me. I'm living. I am choosing to
I'll look it up
live.
right now.
Nope. Choosing to live in ignorance. I don't care. I don't
One
care what Google says.
egg
Google's wrong.
coffee
Google's wrong.
cherry.
Google's wrong. Mm-mm. I just should I
A
get
small round stone fruit produced by a coffee plant.
hacking the internet right now,
Coffee cherry.
blowing up Google's offices. Google, I didn't mean that.
I'm not. It's a coffee cherry.
No, wrong.
Like it's a type of cherry.
You're wrong.
Believe, believe what you want, but it's a type of
I
cherry.
will. I will, and I'll die
And
believing it.
so
I believe
regardless,
that
you
coffee comes from a coffee fairy who drops it off, and then it is made in a magic pot that turns it into the caffeine water.
call the barista.
The coffee fairy, the barista. Yes.
This is the barista. Anyways, so regardless, the second way to do it is called wetting. So you still dry it in the end, but you take it through a different process first. So what you do is you take the cherry and you put it through a machine and it'll take the seed out for you. And what you do here is you would then send it through one more machine to take off the wet skin first, and then you go and dry it out. This will give the bean more flavor and less bitterness.
Yay,
So there you
coffee.
go. Coffee.
So,
So there you go. Coffee.
El
A little
Salvador,
history on a little bit of
knowledge on
my
coffee.
touch on some
Now,
knowledge on coffee.
El Salvador has a near perfect climate for making coffee. They are very good at this, and they make a bunch of money doing this. But during this
By a
time,
bunch, we mean millions.
yeah,
But
literally. So both conservative and liberal leaders during this time are like, coffee is the way to go. This is the only way El Salvador is going to get rich, right? This led to a
until
well, no, not right now. This led to a lot of laws that basically forced people to work in coffee fields.
so pretty much slavery
It was more
or
like
coffee.
feudalistic like serfs, I would want to say. It's more comparison to those than it is slavery because they were still paid, not a lot, but they were still paid.
You do also have to remember that a lot of slaves back in the day were paid, just not good,
It
and it was
depends.
up and it was dependent upon the plantation owner, not
As far
like
as
by
American
law.
slaves go, I believe that was very rare. As far as I know, in other countries, that would
It was literally like only like the slaves that were like older and worked in the house.
the house slaves. Yes, they were always treated better,
Yeah, they were always like if you wanted to be a slave back then, be a house slave,
or just don't do
die
slavery.
or just die,
But
but take your
this,
pick.
but as all things in Central America goes, it goes to shit. A man named Thomas Rega
Mm-hmm.
Regaloud. Regaloud. It's not the guy on the right. I couldn't find a picture of this man. He overthrew the president, and he became president. Air quotes around that. Basically, a dictator. He brings back the practice of presidents dictating their successor. Monarchy. He does this. Um,
A
during this,
dictatorial monarchy.
basically, during this time, there is the First, Second, and Third Teposte Wars, which is fighting between El Salvador and they fought with Mexico against Nicaragua, I believe. I think Honduras was in there somewhere, but like these were wars over land and power in the region. Didn't really do much as far as I know, except for kill a lot of people, as wars tend to do.
Yeah.
So, but those just did nothing, brought back the status quo. After this, an actual election was held, and a Labor Party, which is like more left-leaning party, takes power. And like 7 seconds after, a military coup d'état happens, and they're just overthrown. This is why we can't have nice things, guys. We did it.
That
We elected the good
this is why.
government.
Mhm.
We elected the good.
And shoots him.
Hey, military, why are you holding the "I'm going to overthrow the government" stick? No reason.
No reason.
He
Because
says
we hate good government.
we hate. I assume I'm spitballing off the top of my head here. This well, no, the CIA actually wouldn't have been a thing yet. No, I'm not. I don't think I get to blame the CIA on this one.
Oh yeah, what time set are we in right now?
Pre World War II.
Then no.
All right,
It was
so
during the 50s and or 60s, I
yeah,
think.
like that vague era. So, what kind of government is this military coup? Well, let me tell you. They were very sympathetic to Nazi Germany.
Oh,
So they're real stand-up guys. They're also, they were very sympathetic to Francisco Franco in his conquering of Spain. God damn it.
Franco. Wait a minute.
The guy, the dictator of Spain after the Spanish Civil War.
Oh yeah.
Dude looked over at Europe and said, "Yeah, I think I like this Hitler guy." And then he looked over at Spain. And he said, "I like Hitler number two. I like this. These are my guys."
Benito, who is he? Never
Yeah.
heard of him.
But after some American strong arming, and that by I mean like we're going to blow up your entire house, they changed their tune and switched to the side of the Allies. But I don't think they ever changed ideologically. They just kind of shut up about it.
They're just like, let's not get our asses handed to us.
But keep this in mind. Throughout the whole time this is happening, a government who is sympathetic to the Nazi Germans is in power. Just keep that in mind. All right. We have military juntas. A military junta is just the government run by the military, right? And there were elections, quote unquote.
Right.
Now, I did a deep dive on El Salvadorian elections. And there is a very easy way to tell if it is a free and fair election or if it isn't. So, you look at one poll and it's like, all right, guy won 77%, the other guy won 23. All right. Probably a little corruption there, pretty free. Next one, guy wins 90% of the vote. Probably not very good. Next guy, 95. Okay. Next guy, 60%. That's pretty free. The next one, 99. And I didn't pick the picture up because like I said, I did these slides in 10 minutes. There were a couple people who claimed to have gotten 100% of the vote. Very free.
Right. You have to vote for this next election.
You have to.
But sir, you're the only you're the only
You're the only one on the
person.
ballot. Yeah, vote.
Yeah, vote or else.
Yeah, literally. That's just what they did. And so this is not a very democratic time in El Salvadoran history, and they were having some pretty bad stuff happen to them. Basically, El Salvador, as you can see in this map, is very small. It has a lot of people, though. It had, like, I think 4 million people during this time, which is a ton. So a lot of these people saw, like, all right, why don't we go to Honduras and start farming there? Which brings us right into the history of Honduras. Honduras. I cannot believe I keep mispronouncing these names. I am so sorry. If you live in any of these countries, curse.
Honduras.
You can just curse America. I know you're already doing it. Just curse some more.
Honduras.
Honduras. All right. All right. All right. All right. So
Get it right.
Honduras, like other Central American countries, did this thing where they became what we would call a banana republic. But we got
Why? Banana.
we got to do a little bit of thing here. So they've had a lot of government overthrows, but throughout all of this, American banana companies have a huge amount of power and influence over the entire government. To the point where America landed troops in the country 7 times between 1903 and 1925. We had a very vested interest in keeping these countries afloat, so we could just get bananas. And
We just milk them.
so literally, we stole land, we stole labor, we stole money. Also, some dumbass in Wyoming could have his banana.
I guess what we pretty much enslaved this entire country to make us bananas just so I'm talking to you filthy American.
You filthy Wyomingian, all right? You one of 5. Oh, and it wasn't even just one country. It was a Central America. It was a subcontinent.
It was a sub-region of a continent.
We just for bananas.
For bananas.
God bless America, I guess.
All of Central America. Banana.
On behalf of America, I would like to apologize. You got our bananas?
Where's our banana?
Where?
Like, so, Mr. President, what's your reasoning for sending troops into Central America?
Banana. Dude, that's the. Oh my god, that was the oil version for like pre-World War II.
How come you've invaded this entire like subcontinent?
Why did you? And then it's like that's like talking to Bush, and then you go back to like Wilson, and it's like, why did we, Mr. President? Why did we invade why do we invade Central America? Bananas.
And then bananas.
So they invade bananas. They invade bananas. Yes.
Well,
After, during and after World War II, Honduras has quite a few. They have stuff going for them. They get the right to protest. They get the right to unionize, and they have a democratically elected person in charge. And they were thrown out of power during a military coup d'état. Yay!
Hey,
This one I'm
everything's
blaming.
going great, right?
This one I'm blaming on the CIA.
Yep. Now we can do that.
I'm sorry. I will be back in 1 second. I gotta grab my charger. My computer's about to die. Entertain them for like 3 seconds.
So basically, right? So, hang on. What can I talk about? This is like an interesting position of power I have for the first time.
All right, I have returned.
Um. Oh, okay. I didn't even get to think about what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, I literally had to reach behind me and grab it, but I couldn't do it without taking my
I
earbuds
literally
out.
was like talking to them about like what I've never had to do this before. This is an interesting position of power I just got.
One of these times, I'm gonna have to go like eat or something, and you're just gonna get to.
Rant.
Yeah, but okay. So military coup d'état, awesome. We love the military. Woo.
No, we don't. Stop
No,
lying to
god
yourself.
damn
You're
it.
bad.
Please
Your opinion doesn't matter.
stop overthrowing democratically elected people. Please.
Like, hey, this person's a Democrat. Punches in face.
Not even a Democrat, just democratically elected. There's just like
Yeah,
a.
just a Democratical party. Punch in face.
Stop hitting the overthrow government button, please. All right. So, what happens now? Well, because it's a military government, it sucks. And they have a lot of economic issues. There's a big economic down.
It's almost weird. It's almost like when the military gets involved,
Things
things
go
start to
south.
go
Yeah,
bad.
it's really strange.
Ah,
But yeah,
yeah, I
economic.
can't like I cannot tell you on like what the reasoning.
Uh,
Oh man, it's
it's
so weird. Stop overthrowing the government. How
just stop. Take your finger off the stop, like destroy democracy button. It's not that hard, please. Anyways, they are having an economic downturn, and the price of bananas is down, and they need somebody to blame because the populace is mad. Well, they're like, okay, there's a bunch of El Salvadorans. Okay, I don't know this for a fact. It's either El Salvadorans or I think it's El Salvadorans are coming over the border and starting to
what
work.
was the other option you were
El,
gonna say?
El Salvadorians. I think it's just. I don't think
Nope,
it's
the
Ian's.
first one.
Yeah, I think it's the first one. I typed it in my notes, both ways.
No, it's definitely the first one.
I think. Yeah,
Al Salvadoran.
yeah, El Salvadorans or Salvadoran. You don't say the L when you're just referring to the people. You just say Salvadorans.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had to type El Salvador
Salvador.
more times in this notes than I have ever even thought about that word. Okay, so blame the Salvadoran immigrants for coming over, and they are just like, all right. They pass a bunch of laws that basically restrict rights of landowners who are not native Hondurans or Hondurans. I don't know about that one
Yeah,
either.
Honduran.
I'm not.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no,
trying. Mm-mm.
no, no, Honduran.
Hondurans. Okay, awesome.
No. Hondurans. You're right.
Okay, Hondurans. Awesome. So this made a lot of complications. A lot of people were kicked off their lands. A lot of people were confused because they married a native. It was really hard to figure out what was going on. And a lot of them just got straight up deported back home. This worsened relations with El Salvador massively. And at this point, powder keg. They are ready to fight at the drop of a hat. Anyways, you want to talk about FIFA? You want to talk about soccer? You want to talk about good old football?
Oh.
All right. So you viewer, you find yourself in the 1970 FIFA World Cup qualifications on June the 8th. It is the first game between El Salvador and Honduras. It is in the capital.
Honduras.
It is in the capital of Honduras, and they win 1-0. There are fights in the stands, and El Salvador gets rocks thrown at them, I believe. All right,
Yep.
it's fine. It's fine. 1 week later, you find yourself on the 15th of June in El Salvador's capital, where they win 3-0. As far as I know this one for sure. Rocks were thrown at the Honduras bus as they were driving home, and there were more fights between fans. This I know
By the
for sure.
way, in that bus, they had to drive back in an armored bus.
Oh yeah.
An armored bus, not just an armored bus. Just to put that into perspective.
So at this point, we're 1-1. There is about to be blood drawn. We have to go to Mexico City. It is the 27th of June, and we are in overtime. El Salvador comes out on top, 3-2. And on the same day, El Salvador breaks diplomatic ties with Honduras, saying that the treatment of their citizens, I'm quoting here, the government of Honduras has not taken any effective measures to punish these crimes which constitute genocide, nor has been given assurances of indemnification or reparations for the damages caused to Salvadorans. So, El Salvador is like, all right, you are treating our citizens like crap, and you are providing no protections for them. There's a lot of violence. So actually, I have it on the next slide. There's a lot of violence that is being committed against these Salvadorian refugees or immigrants, and I am not. I'm pretty comfortable calling it a genocide. They murdered a lot, deported a lot, and it's at least an ethnic cleansing.
Yep.
Which is just genocide, like baby's first genocide.
Holocaust
Light.
half. Holocaust light.
I'm gonna get my channel struck.
It's fine.
That's fine. All right, I have 2 other strikes. I'll be all right. All right, so
Maybe I.
there have been tiny border skirmishes during this time, but nothing that would, cause a huge war to happen. But on the 14th of July, 1969, El Salvador attaches bombs to passenger planes that they had earlier. What's the word? Commandeered, and they fly over to Honduras and they bomb it. They first go for the air base so that they would have control of the skies. Now this works. Honduras cannot manage. They can't scramble their aircraft. So El Salvador basically has power in the air for a little bit of time. They are pushing in on Honduras on all fronts, and they're making some pretty damn good pace. Now, put this in perspective, most of the equipment both these countries are using are World War II, either American or Soviet. I think both had both. All right.
They didn't call it the 100 Hours War for nothing.
Nope, they did not. So, what happens? Nicaragua does not like this. They give weapons and money to Honduras because they don't want to see Honduras conquered by El Salvador. All right. So, Honduras finally gets planes up in the air. Finally, so I did research on this. I didn't pull a bunch of pictures like I would usually do, but I did look this up. This was the last time in history where 2 piston-fired aircraft, World War II aircraft, fought each other in a dogfight. 1970. The United States was operating I don't even know what plane we would have been operating in the 1970s. Probably a supersonic aircraft at this point. We had gone to the moon.
And we're still using World War II equipment.
Yeah, it's just put that in perspective. So Honduras gets planes in the air, and they go to bomb El Salvador's capital. El Salvador has anti-aircraft guns, but they don't really do too much. Their main targets are ports and oil infrastructure, which they do a pretty damn good job of hitting. This really hurts El Salvador and their want to fight. So, 4 days of fighting later, um, Honduras is kind of scared because they are approaching. El Salvador is approaching their capital, so they appeal to the OSA, the Organization of American States. It's set up by the U.S. Go figure, to promote unity and strength within the American continents. In other words, America wanted to control the countries, right?
Yeah.
They are like, okay, El Salvador, you need to leave. They organize a ceasefire after 4 days, and they're like, all right, you need to leave. And El Salvador's like, no,
Okay, then we're gonna declare war on
we're
you.
gonna sanction you. We're gonna sanction you, and you're gonna economically hurt. And they're like, okay, good point. You have you
Not my coffee.
I didn't. Shoot, dude. I left the stove on at home. Guess we got to turn around. I'm so sorry about this, guys. I guess yeah, we're going. We'll go.
I have to pick up the kids from
Yeah,
school.
I like. Damn, man. I think I left. I think I left my.
I
think I left. I think I got a pizza. I
I
gotta go
think
pick up.
I think I left my fish outside.
Yeah, I gotta go take my cat on a walk. It's you know how these things go.
I I gotta go take my boneless chicken
Mhm.
out of the oven.
So after these threats by the USA, El Salvador leaves. And at this point, El Salvador and Honduras have fought and lost and gained nothing but men. 300,000 Salvadorans were displaced, and 900 civilians and military were killed. In Honduras, 200 civilians were killed, along with 2,500 soldiers. These actions led directly to the, I think it was the Second El Salvador Civil War, which I believe ended in the establishment of a democratic government, but I could be thinking of a wrong civil war.
Could be.
It broke there at this time. Central America was trying to form this like unibody where they could compete with the other powers. Like they were one block, and this kind of broke it for a long time because these guys just couldn't get over it. The war lasted 4 days, but negotiations lasted 10 years to finally get everything going. And there is still argument over border disputes between these guys up until like 2012. And do you want to know the
Yeah.
funniest part?
Oh, can I tell them this? I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. Can I say it? Can I
Go
say it?
ahead.
Okay. After all of that bickering over a few soccer matches, El Salvador gets to go play in the good old World Cup, right? And they lose all 3 matches in Mexico City.
Yeah!
All that bickering
Woo!
for nothing. For nothing. Because they didn't win anyways. They
Nope.
didn't go on.
Nope. They didn't. They God
They
damn
lost
it.
to Belgium, Mexico, and the Soviets.
Like all of that. War, dead, 300,000 displaced, and they lose every single
Ten,
game.
10 years of negotiation.
They
Just to
did not
lose
score
3 games of
single goal, not even one.
mm-mm, 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 not one goal.
Well, I just. I think Brazil won that year, and it was just like, come
Yeah.
on, man. If your country.
All of that bickering and arguing over a few football matches
And here's the thing
for El
they
Salvador to go on and lose
they
all
beat
3 matches. 0
Honduras
points.
in overtime.
Yeah.
And they go to, I think it's called the group stage. I might be wrong. I don't know a lot about
No,
FIFA.
yep. Group stage.
Okay, they go to the
It
group
goes
stage,
from
and
like your regional area to the group stage
okay,
to the thing where you decide who goes out to the knockout
knockout stage.
stage.
I think this is the knockout stage. Like this is the one before the
No, no,
knockout
no, no,
stage
no, no, no. Yeah, this is the one before that.
because that's what it says. Advanced to knockout stage. Yeah,
Because knockout stage is the final. Like
that's how you.
that's the World Cup.
Yeah, Soviet
That's the World
Union,
Cup.
Mexico. Yeah, these are qualifications. Here, these are qualification rounds.
Yep.
So they beat Honduras very closely, and their country goes to war over it. All right, that's fine. You have to go and win this. If you do not win this World Cup, it is done. So I bet these players were thinking like, okay, we got to win this, and then they lose every single game, not scoring a single goal the whole time. I know soccer is a hard.
The Hondurian sitting right next to the you know who I'm talking about. Them
Yep.
fans and they're just laughing their
Yeah,
asses
they're
off
just
because
laughing
they're
at him
like,
because it's like you start this whole war over a football game and then you lose.
you lose every single game after that.
No goals, no bitches, no
No
soldiers,
life. Get
no
one.
land.
No friends either. You should probably invest in that.
Holy crap. It's just
Go plant your coffee beans.
go plant your coffee, go do a military junta again. I don't care. I just like that was the stupidest part to me. It was just like, and I had forgotten this from the video. I rediscovered this while I was throwing these slides together, and I had to put it in.
Yep. They all that bickering and arguing. That 100 hours of war just for El Salvador to lose 3 games in a row and not make it to the World Cup.
Like I get them losing to the Soviets, like okay, and to the Mexicans, but the Belgians?
The Belgian team was really good
I don't care. It's
back then.
Belgium.
Back then, they were like the best.
Oh wait,
Like
am I
they were
getting
like one of the best teams.
shit? My bad. I think I'm getting Belgium and the Dutch confused.
Yeah, no, the Dutch suck.
Dutch
The
Dutch are the
Belgians
one who did blackface.
back
The Dutch are the one who do
yeah,
blackface. Okay, yeah, no. But
yeah.
still,
No. No, the Belgians, they're bad now, but back then they used to be like one of the best
if
teams
you're gonna
in
start a
Europe.
war over soccer, you better be good at soccer. But
You better be good at soccer, but I guess not.
that is the story of the football war, or otherwise known as the 100 Hours War.
Yeah.
What did we learn?
Um, don't start a war that you can't finish.
Get good at soccer.
That too. Get good at soccer. Don't start a war you can't finish, and don't displace people just because stuff's going on. Because
And
that's bad.
and okay, this is personal. I hope every single military leader see this. Stop overthrowing democratically elected leaders.
I was
Stop.
trying to help.
Like I stop. Like just stop, please. Like I'm not. That's what happened to Myanmar. That's why they're on fire right now. As uh...
The world is burning.
oh, and I forgot to mention that people in Bangladesh are on strike,
Yeah.
which is really good for them.
Yeah.
I hope they
No.
get. I hope they get everything they want. But like,
It's about time.
yeah, I hope they get everything they want, and I hope the American companies can suck it. All right. I don't. We kind of agreed we want to do any bits at the end here for time's sake.
Nah. It's already been an hour.
No shot. God damn it. Okay, we'll just save ourselves the pain of having
Nah.
to go like an hour and 15. How
Nah.
we even okay, I'm so glad we didn't do any bits. If we had done bits, this would have been an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I okay.
for the sake of our souls.
For the sake of our souls, our sanity, and our time, and yours, that was the football war. Like to thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye.